X-Men. Get it!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Battle of the Atom. This is your weekly X-Men podcast where we rank every story from A to Z.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Zach. And Adam, I come bearing bad news today.
Oh no, I don't like bad news. What's the bad news now?
Well, wouldn't you know it? Have you heard of those New Mutants?
I love the New Mutants. What happened to the New Mutants?
Well, you remember how a couple episodes ago we did a thing where they died a lot?
Yeah, they just keep dying. It's so sad.
They just keep dying, and so does their movie.
Oh yeah. I heard something about that this afternoon.
So this movie that was supposed to come out in 2018, is
What's
now
the deal?
coming out in 2020.
Deep breath, X fans.
So here's the thing. I thought the trailer looked dope. I thought it looked like a really cool movie.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like even its stars know when the reshoots are that are required to actually finish this thing off. So I don't have high hopes.
They have a movie. They could release a movie right now.
Yes, they have a movie, but I don't think it's one that Disney and even Fox were comfortable with releasing. So very unfortunate that this just keeps getting pushed back and back and back, and God knows what the final product is going to be.
Were we a podcast when the first trailer came up? I think the answer is we had just started.
Yeah, because somebody calculated today how many days
that was
it
me.
Will be.
That was
how many
me.
days will it be? 500 something days?
No,
between the first trailer.
No, it'll be 900 some days.
Oh God! Wow,
yeah, it's 5 times longer than
that?
It was initially planned. The distance between first trailer and release.
Yeah, the thing that's absolutely insane about this is like we may actually, between the original shoot and the reshoot, maybe actually able to see the actor's age. Like that's how messed up this shoot is. Like
it's wild stuff, guys.
Oh, it's so sad. And corporate mergers, but hey, I guess we should be grateful that it's even on a release schedule, because I think a lot of us just suspect that it's going to, bite the dust or end up on a streaming service.
will put money on it. It comes out. We are all going to watch it. We are going to enjoy it. We'll do a special episode about it.
Well, we've been trying to do one for a while.
Guys, we've been trying to do Demon Bear since day one. And we said, well, that movie's coming out soon. We should do Demon Bear then.
Yeah.
That's still the plan. Demon Bear's just taken a little bit.
April 3rd, 2020, right? All right. Well, we're not talking about New Mutants today, though, right?
I mean, we're talking about new X-Men at one point.
Yeah, very different than the New
Mutants. We are technically covering some stories with New Mutants in the title. So I want you to take that back, Adam.
That's true.
We are covering New Mutants today.
Headlining New Mutants. But today we got a request to talk about everybody's famous pink future genocidal robot friend Nimrod, right?
Yeah, we're talking about Nimrod, the Great Hunter,
boy.
as he is more often referred to. He's a pink crystal man who is a Sentinel from the days of the future past, the number one story on our list. And our good friend Rob went over to patreon.com and he threw money at us. He took a big wad of cash and said, here's money, go. And we said, got it. We're talking about Nimrod.
Nimrod's weird.
Okay, I want us to percolate on this thought throughout the entire episode, and we'll get to it by the end because I think it's important to there.
Yeah.
I want us all to think about ranking the following creations: Master Mold, Nimrod, Bastion, who are all kind of the same thing. They are the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit of the Sentinel program.
That's fair. It's also a little confusing.
Much like the Trinity.
Well, Nimrod is a biblical name, is it not?
I don't 100% know. I think maybe. Hold on, guys. This is Bible talk now. Welcome to Sunday school. Sunday school with Zach and Adam.
Yeah, isn't he like Tower of Babel? Like Kingdom of Babylon? That's like the dude, right? In Genesis,
He was a mighty hunter before the Lord.
Okay.
And that's it. That's all we know about Nimrod. He's in Micah, a very forgotten book of the Bible.
All right.
He's the son of Cush, the son of Ham, the son of Noah.
There we go. Everybody's related. So we're all related to this giant Pepto-Bismol robot monster.
Yes.
But of all the Nimrod stories, which one are we starting with? Which one did Rob want us to talk about?
We're going to talk about Uncanny X-Men 194, Juggernaut's back in town.
Ooh, this is a John Romita Jr. joint, isn't it?
This is a Chris Claremont joint, isn't it?
Woot woot. This is good. I like this one.
It's
oh.
It's an objectively good comic that on the Chris Claremont X-Men scale is on the bottom end.
Oh, I don't know, man. This has some really cool stuff going on in it.
It's cool. I got weird feelings about this era.
Okay. I think that's fair.
Like the pre-mutant massacre stuff. The whole Secret Wars 2 up through pre-mutant massacre stuff is such a weird spot for me. Like, you could tell that Claremont knew he wanted to do something else, knew he had to get somewhere, but didn't have that creative spark to say, what's my next big thing yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, the basic plot of this issue is that every cop in New York City is on alert because they've heard a report that Juggernaut is back in town. The X-Men cannot be bothered to get out of bed for a little bit, which that I think is the most charming part of the issue, is that we get all these in the mansion vignettes with each of the X-Men kind of, they don't really want to get out of bed. They don't want to deal with Juggernaut. And then when they finally do, they don't end up fighting Juggernaut. They end up fighting Nimrod, who has been in the background of several issues leading up to this.
Yeah, he saved a construction worker from being stabbed over the necklace of Kulan Goth, a Conan the Barbarian villain.
Yes, yeah. Nimrod is wrapped up in that Kulan Goth story. Crazy, right?
Then he was just living in a guy's guest house for a little while.
He's just chilling. He's got nothing against people. He just wants to kill all mutants.
He's just dressed as a construction worker, earning a hard day's living. It's interesting that Nimrod is a union man, and I really do appreciate that about him.
So Nimrod, sort of shows up. Juggernaut is no match for him. And,
he is trying to just get a loan. Like, Juggernaut went down to the bank. He's like, guys, I need some capital. I need some financing here. Can you help me out? I'm very strong.
It is great. Like, first of all, the X-Men don't want to be bothered by Juggernaut. They're like, we just fought this guy in Marvel Team Up. Like, why do we have to fight him again? They get to the bank and they're like, he's not doing anything. He's not even dressed up like Juggernaut. But
I don't think there's anything I like more in comics than casual Juggernaut.
Yeah, Kane Marco just chilling. He's just chilling.
I don't need Juggernaut to be a bad guy. I know he destroyed the World Trade Center that one time and objectively is a monster. But I prefer Juggernaut in my canon to just, like, he's a crook. He's a baddie, but he's like a golden age bad guy.
Right.
He's just going about living his life like it's a sitcom. Like, I don't know what trouble I'm going to get into today.
I do love that Kane Marco is wearing his Juggernaut outfit underneath his plain clothes and then just happens to have the helmet somewhere around him so that he can get outfitted to battle Nimrod. It's a really fun little thing when his clothes get blown off.
Yeah, I do love Kane Marco. And also, John Romita Jr. draws this. And guys, John Romita Jr. is literally like, He's John Romita Jr. Do we need to go into it? He does very, very good stuff in this era. It's not the super geometric cubism stuff that he's doing in the 2000s, but it's definitely got some of the elements of that. It's sure a clean comic style that I really like.
Oh, I love the John Romita Jr. stuff. Between this and the Daredevil run, it's really fun. And the way he dresses these characters is fantastic. We've got Rogue in one of her, sort of black leotard, green jacket things going on here. Rachel is straight up rocking a green blazer with a tie. The fashion choices here are inspired.
Yeah, and then this whole thing kind of sort of resolves when Rogue absorbs everyone's powers and decides to fight.
Yeah.
And I don't know it. Is this the first time she's pulled that particular move?
I want to say that it is, because Nimrod is able to, one of his things is that he can adjust. So if you use a power against him, he can figure out how to defend himself. So the only way they get out of this situation is by Rogue basically becoming Nightcrawler, Colossus, and Kitty Pryde all at the same time, which is fantastic. It happens. It's kind of turned itself into its own trope, but I think this might be the first time we see that happen.
If it's not, it's very close to the first time.
Yeah.
This is good. It's a fun issue. It doesn't do much. In fact, the story doesn't even really resolve itself.
Because Nimrod gives up.
Yeah, Nimrod's like, peace out, I'm gonna go back, my shift's about to start, and I've got to support my fellow working man.
There's another little vignette in here with Storm in Africa beating up some white hunters who are sexually harassing a hotel worker.
Yeah, and did you know that this is the first appearance of Andrea and Andreas von Strucker?
Oh, is that who they are?
Yes!
Oh, I didn't
That's
even
Andrea
notice that.
and Andreas Strucker.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Because they come back and shoot her.
Yep.
In the next
Great.
issue or something. They're the worst.
Oh, they really are. They really are.
Okay, we haven't talked about this in a while because it did get canceled. But is it weird that there was a 2-season television show based around the descendants of Andrea and Andreas von Strucker?
Yeah, it's very strange. The Gifted season 1 was a lot better than season 2. But yes, it exists as an entire anomaly. And I think we're always grateful for any X media, but it was definitely strange.
Absolutely wild.
Yeah. But I will stand by this issue. I love these little, glimpses into what's going on in the mansion. I think that, Claremont always excels when he's showing these things happen, like Wolverine running through the snow in his PJs, or Kitty using her phasing powers to knock out her alarm clock. There are these little character quirky things here that are really fun. And it's just a light, fun issue. I can see why Rob likes this one.
Yeah. It's good. I like it. I don't love it. I don't love Nimrod as a villain. I think he's pretty two-dimensional.
Well, we're going to talk a lot more about Nimrod and his complexities as we go through the next 2 stories. But I think as a standalone, this is pretty interesting. They set out to talk about Juggernaut, and then it gets, things go awry very quickly.
Now, we have gone awry by not introducing our list of every story in the X-Men history of all time, which we will rank this one against.
Yeah.
We have 222 stories to talk about. And we're going to talk about each one of them individually over 92 other episodes of this podcast. But essentially it goes from Days of Future Past to the Draco, with a lot in between. Let's talk about something else from this era to get a good point.
The first thing I thought of was at 154, we have Uncanny X-Men 206, which is freedom is a 4-letter word.
Better than this.
Which has...
this is better than that. This is better than that. This is better than that.
That has a better cover, but this is a better issue.
I don't like freedom is a 4-letter word very much.
It's not a terrible issue, but this is I think a lot more fun and has a lot more character and heart to it. And like you said, it has plainclothes Kane Marco, so we're good on that. Any other points of reference you were looking at to begin with?
I'm looking up the list from there, and I'm going to say I don't think this is better than 115 Madripoor Nights.
Okay. Yep.
And
That's sort of become a ceiling of sorts as we go through this list.
Yeah, we may have ranked that one a little low. Who knows?
That's okay. It's good.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay, 128. The first appearance of the Juggernaut of Kane Marco.
I like this better. I think this has just a little bit more character to it than that one, even though that's a really fun introduction. Like, it's great to see Juggernaut kind of like jokingly asking a cop who's looking for the Juggernaut say, the Juggernaut's back in town, and not recognizing him. It's great.
Okay. I'm going to say a few up there. There's a couple of stories that are one-offs. The Excalibur bar issue, Uncanny X-Men 15.inh, Uncanny X-Men Annual, the one that you wrote.
In my time machine.
In your time machine, 14-year-old Adam did write this.
Thank God it was not a Nimrod time machine. If I was just going to squeeze it in somewhere, I think I would put it after the INH issue.
Yes. Okay. Yes. That's exactly, that was going to be my ceiling, because that's got that good Chris Anka art, and also Emma.
Yeah, it has that great Emma moment. And like, those are the kind of behind the scenes character moments that I absolutely love. I think that issue does it a tweak better, even though it's not Claremont. But I do think this is better than what we have at 123 right now, which is that Caliban and Jubilee and Candy in the Sewers.
Well, this is 123. Now
Perfect.
Now Juggernaut is back in town. Juggernaut's back in town. Bum, bum, 123.
All right. But we're not done talking about our buddy Nimrod here.
Why would we? That's not how our program works.
No,
you know
it
this.
Is not. And this next story we're talking about was a real nice surprise for me. I like this one a lot. What is this one?
This is New X-Men 28 through 31, Nimrod.
Yeah. Now, the new X-Men, they're not having a good day when this starts.
They're having a week. This takes place almost immediately after the how did we actually call it? It's the new X-Men. Everyone dies. It's the one with the bus and the purifiers.
Yeah. Yep.
So they've had all of their friends murdered. Childhood's End and Crusade at 109 are on this right now.
Yep.
And everyone's like, okay, this is bad.
This is real bad.
So then Carol Danvers shows up. And you know about Carol Danvers, star of Stage and Screen.
That's right. Yeah. Great haircut.
Very good haircut. Very good haircut. Paco Medina, who does the art here in this issue with Duncan Ruleo doing one issue in the middle of this run. He does not draw her with that hair. She has her long Warbird Ms. Marvel hair. And I think writers Chris Kyle or Chris Yost and Craig Kyle, the writers of, I don't know, Thor Ragnarok, could have fit that in there, but they didn't.
She's rocking that lightning bolt costume of yore, and it looks like a Guthrie has been gunned down. Stryker is dead, and the new X-Men are generally just like, they're a mess. They're all beat up, and just at their worst, when they really need the X-Men, the adults decide, well, guys, we got to go to Wakanda. Storm's getting married.
I mean, look, that wedding was a big deal, and I have not read a single page of the Black Panther run where she gets married. I have since reading this, I finally said, I probably should. Like go through that run, because it's not even the Priest run, which is the good one. So I don't know, but yeah, they go to get Storm to get married. And then speaking of which, Storm's ex, Forge, gets contacted by Nimrod.
Yeah, and it turns out that Forge created Nimrod.
Forge gave this Nimrod a new body. So I actually had to do an article about Nimrod back when I was doing articles, and I had to work out this timeline. So hold with me.
I'm with you.
Days of Future Past. Nimrod gets sent back to the past after chasing Rachel Gray.
Right.
Nimrod doesn't end up where we thought he ends up. Nimrod doesn't go far enough back, and he ends up in an alternate past where Forge is the maker, and he's married to Storm, and he was damaged, and he has Forge remake him something after threatening to murder his family and all this stuff.
Yes.
Then Nimrod goes even farther back in time to New X-Men times, but not far enough back in time yet. He goes to New X-Men times. This story happens. Then he goes farther back in time to whenever Nimrod first shows up in the Kulan Gath stuff.
Right. Like, that's the craziest thing, is he's kind of a time paradox.
Yeah. And the New X-Men kids decide to take it on themselves to go fight Nimrod to stop him from destroying all mutants, which, fair.
Oh, and dude, this is an action-packed, pumped 4 issues. I loved this. It is crazy. They steal the Blackbird. They fly to what's Forge's mansion called?
Eagle Plaza?
Eagle Plaza, thank you. And it is just this giant, especially the last 2 issues here are just this like gigantic fight scene where they are trying to figure out how to defeat them. They don't know that Forge has transferred Nimrod into a protect all mutant's body, and they mess that up. And there's this like very great, I don't know, like the tempo of this is so fast. It's awesome.
Well, because a lot of stuff happens. First, Rockslide gets blown up.
Oh, my poor buddy Rockslide.
Bye-bye, Santo. You're dust for the time being. Guys, he gets better, and they redesign him. They use this to redesign him into a good look and not just Gray the Thing, which is very choice.
He looks a lot better once it's done.
He looks a lot better.
He's Dust for an issue.
He needed to die here. No, Dust is a different character in this issue.
Ooh, can't confuse our Dusts. Sorry. He's Gravel for a little bit.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. Anyway, that really upsets Mercury, who goes crazy on Rockslide or on Nimrod, and then Talon. You know Talon, right? The name that we all know and love. Talon, very famous X-Men character.
I believe you're referring to Laura Kinney.
I am referring to Laura Kinney because this book and like this book alone called her Talon for like 2 issues before they said, that's dumb.
That's dumb. It didn't stick. But Laura Kinney really gets messed up in this. And that is one of the greatest parts of this story, is that she needs to be like rushed back to the mansion via extra power from Emma Frost, and it's a fantastic cliffhanger. Like, not a cliffhanger, but you are on, I don't know, as I'm reading it, I'm on the edge of my seat. Like, is she gonna make it? You know, because her healing factor can't keep up with what Nimrod did to her.
Yeah, Hellion gets his power blockers removed from Emma. She's like, okay, dude, you're just gonna go real fast. You gotta go fast. You're like Sonic the Hedgehog, and you gotta go fast. You gotta go fast. You gotta go fast. And then he goes fast. And then they save the day because Surge and Mercury zap Nimrod into time traveling.
Yeah, and Hellion is able to get Laura Kinney back to Elixir, who is all messed up. Instead of being all gold, he's sort of like this deep, like charcoal black color, and he's able to save Laura Kinney at the last possible second while the rest of them take care of Nimrod. And man, this really does showcase, you know, especially during Messiah Complex, I was very complimentary of this series and the way it's being written. And I think this is like really selling these characters in a way that when they initially premiere in the beginning issues of this book, it's not there yet. Here,
oh no,
it's there, man.
I always thought New X-Men took a while to get going because the initial New Mutant series, mediocre to bad. There's a thing with Reign that's actually the worst thing that's ever happened to Reign. There is the initial run of New X-Men, which is, it struggles. There's the bus stuff, which is
tough.
It's tough. It's transitioning the book into being this. It's pivoting to where these are the characters you actually like. And not all of them are here yet because Annalay and Pixie have not kind of been promoted into this team.
Right
right yet. But like, these are the ones you like. These are the ones you want to read about. And it's fun. This story, and then the next couple are a ton of fun leading up to Messiah Complex. This isn't my favorite of the new X-Men Kids stories. That one might be our Halloween special for this upcoming year. Who knows? It doesn't involve Dracula.
But I do like this a lot better than the one that was right before it, though. I mean, it has a lot of fun things going on, and it is, as I keep saying, it's like action packed and fast paced, and I don't know, I like this lineup, and it has a lot of really fun stuff happening in it.
And there's awesome character work, like bringing it back to what I was talking about near the beginning of this segment.
Mm-hmm.
Carol Danvers shows up. And it's a combination, her going and saying, hey guys, sorry you had a bad week, which is fair. And then also her secretly kind of pitching, hey, but there's a superhero civil war going on over here.
Oh my God.
And we could I'm your friend, Carol Danvers. I hung out at your house for a little while. We should be friends again. Also, please join the police.
Yeah. Please sign up for the Registration Act.
And Emma Grace Frost, she gives a very good speech.
It's a great moment.
She screams at Carol, says, where were you when Genosha got screwed up? Where were you when all of our kids were dying? Where were the Avengers all those times? And now you come into my house. You come into my domicile. And you say, hey, y'all, let's fight this stupid war for the government and join the side that's registering people because mutants like that, right? Also, I'm your friend Carol Danvers.
And Emma's point is really on, which is, hey, all of these things happened because people knew where mutants were. And this is what happens to us when we're out there and we're visible. So no, we're not going to sign up for your stupid registration, and you need to get the hell out of my house because I got a wedding to get to. And
that's a very Emma Frost thing to do. I have a wedding to go to. You're in my house. You need to leave.
Yes. And it's brutal. She sends Captain Marvel into a casket of one of the dead mutants. I mean, it is. Psychologically, not like physically, but
also maybe that too.
Who knows?
Who knows with Emma?
But those are the kind of things that are happening in this book that are very well written character moments that really make it effective. I think
it's an effective book. I enjoy it. It's not my favorite, and I know I have had harsh words for the new X-Men Kids in the past, because I think a lot of the strength of this book comes from the fact that they aren't all three-dimensional characters yet. They're all interesting, they're dynamic, they're great visual designs and real fun in a fight scene, but they're all pretty flat character-wise, maybe with one or two little facets to them.
Yeah, I think we're getting there, and I think this hits its peak probably around Messiah Complex, but
actually right before. It's actually just right before.
They
have to go to hell. They have to go to hell, and they hang out with Belasco. You know him.
I love that guy. Yeah,
fun
he's
question.
terrible.
Question: how long did it take you before you realized that Belasco only had one arm? Because it took me several years.
Oh, doesn't he have one arm in the Magic Mini?
Yeah, he has always only had one arm. I just never noticed, and I've read all those stories several times.
Hey, don't worry about it. Different artists, whatever. What I will say is that I liked this better than Childhood's End, which we currently have at 109.
It's better than that.
Yeah.
It's better than number 80, Gambit and the Externals.
I agree. I think there's a lot of really good action here and character interaction. How high are you willing to go? 74, we have your beloved Exterminators. Is this better than that?
I think this is better than Exterminators, and I do love that story. I don't think this is better than number 58 right now, which is X-Force Assault on Greymalkin.
No, I wouldn't put it ahead of that. That is like one of those beloved things with the Capullo art. Paco Medina is kicking butt here. This is great artwork. I love it.
Paco does good. Paco does good on this. He has like a cartoony, bubbly style that really works for the dynamic action you need here.
Yeah.
Better or worse than Blood Hungry?
Oh, that's tough. I do kind of like Blood Hungry.
Look, there's no shame in being worse than Blood Hungry.
Yeah, it's kind of goofy, but I
think it's better than the Howard the Duck story.
Yes.
For an X-Men story.
And I would
puts it Ladies' Night and Excalibur where Rachel fights Galactus.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to say that I think this might go ahead of Ladies' Night.
You're talking about the first appearance of your beloved Jubilee? Yes.
I think that this is a really solid action story. It's very tightly written. And I don't know. Like, part of me wants to put it in between 62 and 63, which is Mojo Mayhem and the first volume of Ultimate X-Men.
But it's not better than Blood Hungry. But it's
all
not,
right. So then I am going.
I'll give it Ladies' Night. I'm not giving up the ghost on Blood Hungry.
All right. So I'm going to suggest that this is our new 66. That would put it up above Excalibur 61, which has gorgeous art but is a little bit light on story.
I was going to even say 65 because I thought you said above Ladies' Night.
Oh, okay. So you want it so it'll go ahead of Blood Hungry?
Wait, no. I already put it there. That's the problem. That's the problem. All right. That's the problem. I'm miscounting. It's our new 65. And now, guys, we're gonna talk. You remember how we talked some religious stuff? We said this was Bible Corner several times in this episode.
That's true. What are we turning into, the Apocryphals here?
I understood that reference. Actually, do you actually hold on? Adam,
nope.
Do you listen to it? Okay,
no.
Didn't think so. That's a specific brand.
Yeah. You know what? I'm very tempted now. I think Erica Henderson started listening to it and just did an illustration on the fly for something they did on a recent episode. I'm very curious, but I have yet to check it out. My apologies to a friend of the show, Chris Sims.
Yeah, we're gonna just get this plug in right here so people know what we're talking about. If you are interested in Bible and want to hear two people just read the Bible, but like one of the people has been a biblical scholar, and one of the people is a comic book scholar. And they just talk about it as if it's just text and understand the cultural things and make very funny jokes. It may be the podcast for you. It's called Apocryphals. I enjoy it a lot, but it's not going to be for everybody.
Check it out. I need to check it out.
You might. Who knows? They just did an episode on 2 Corinthians. That's the second book of the Corinthians. Okay. Anyway, but we have a second that's coming up here. A second coming, in fact.
Oh boy. Do we ever. And I think we might have some different thoughts about this.
I don't... Okay. I'm going to say something here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Adam, I don't think we're 100% going to disagree as much as I thought we might before I read this again.
Okay. Because I've heard you speak very highly of this in the past.
I have spoken very highly of this in the past. I don't dislike this comic. I have to say that right now. We're talking about Second Coming. Craig Kyle, Chris Yost, Matt Fraction, Zeb Wells, and Mike Carey write this event. And I like all of them. It's penciled by David Finch, Terry Dodson, Ibrahim Robertson, Greg Land, and Mike Choi. I like 2 of them a lot. I dislike 2 of them a lot. One of them I'm in the middle with.
There are some artistic things going on in this that I just am not a fan of. And surprisingly, like, the land stuff is not the one that really bothers me.
Which one really bothers you? Now I'm curious.
Okay, so I want to make sure I'm not besmirching the wrong person, but the Mike Choi stuff takes me so far out of the story every issue that it pops up. I don't know that we pointed this out. This is a multi-line crossover.
14 issues.
Yeah, this is a year's worth of content, right? This came out over a year?
No, this came out from March to July.
That's crazy. Okay. But makes sense. I mean, X-Men crossovers usually happen pretty fast. But we've got X-Men, New Mutants, Uncanny X-Men, X-Factor? No.
Force. X Factor had
X-Force.
X
They were
Factor had a
Revelations.
tie-in, but yeah, separate thing.
Right. Did I get them all? I think.
Force, Legacy, Uncanny, and New Mutants.
Yes. Along with 2 standalone bookend issues of Second Coming 1, Second Coming 2. There's even a like little, I don't even understand what it is, a little vignette kind of thing called Second Coming Prepare.
That was a promo piece that Marvel Unlimited for some reason does put with it.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, but the Mike Choi stuff really takes me out of it. Maybe we should save this for a second. Let's talk a little bit about.
No, wait, hold on. Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mike Choi sucks and I hate him.
Oh, damn.
I don't like his art. It throws me out. I've also heard from sources that I trust that he's a crappy dude. So I do not support Mike Choi in any way, shape, or form.
Wow. Okay.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
I don't know anything about the dude. I just know that he is going for this very kind of painterly style that just does not work for me. And
there's no energy to it, no movement to it. It's still art in a action sequence. It does not work at all. And it's shocking that they had him as the secondary artist for Clayton Crane, who also has a painterly style, but is super dynamic and has tons of action during that X-Force run. And I'm mad now.
Yeah, there's a real artistic inconsistency as you go through these issues. And so he's the one that really pulls me out. You know, Land is, of course, doing, normal, very strange anatomy things. Just proportions are all over the place.
Terry Dodson throws me out on this one. Honestly, I don't think his art is bad. His art is out of place. His style does not mesh with these other artists.
Oh, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Like, it seems like a couple of these books are in line with each other style wise. And then you're right. Like, Dodson's got a more, especially the way he's being colored, it's very flat.
What throws me off is the way it's structured. This event goes, what is it? It goes Uncanny, New Mutants, Legacy, X-Force. Uncanny, New Mutants, Legacy, X-Force. Which means you're going from the Mike Choi stuff, which is painted, static art.
Mm-hmm.
Like dark and kind of gritty and realist. To Terry Dodson, which is borderline cartooning and bright colors.
Right.
And every time it's that issue shift, it's whiplash. It is whiplash.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit in Messiah Complex, because the art sort of goes from like a more grittier house style to something a little more cartoony. But here,
it goes from David Finch to Umberto Ramos, which is quite a jump.
It is, but Bachalo is there to like sort of temper that shift between them. Here, there's no middle ground. Like, you're just going from one to the other. And okay, so what is this actually about? Because we've got Cable and Hope coming back.
So Cable and Hope come back.
Yep.
Which is dope.
That part's great.
They end up at the X-Mansion. It's like, well, crap, no one's here. Also, there's no X-Mansion here. Oh, crap, the right is here. And they shoot their way through. And then Cyclops sees, oh, dang, my boy is back. My boy is back in town.
Yes.
And he sends the X-Men to go help carry Hope across the entire U.S. They find out about X-Force, which Nightcrawler's not thrilled with.
No, but he doesn't have long to think about that, unfortunately.
Nightcrawler gets Bastion, because Bastion's here.
Bastion and all his resurrected evil past X-foes. He's just having a party.
Yeah, that's the Council of Humanity.
Sure.
Bastion, I believe, used the transmode virus to resurrect a lot of these people while working with, I think, Selene. I'd have to remember exactly how it went down.
It's some kind of kooky science that gives us Cameron Hodge back, Stephen Lang.
Who the New Mutants go and fight, which There's a very good panel. You know the great panel from Extinction Agenda where Cameron Hodge is wearing the cardboard cutout of a man suit?
Yes.
They do that again.
Yes, but with a real body. It's great.
Like, it took me a second. I was like, oh my gosh, they referenced that. That's very good.
Yeah.
The New Mutants fight him. Karma does get leg stabbed, though. And Warlock kills him because Doug Ramsey said, you have to kill this man. And I don't like that.
Well, it does give Land a chance to do some really good Warlock stuff. Like, Land does a great Warlock.
Greg Land should only draw robots. He's very good at it.
Yeah, he does a pretty good Sentinel later in it, too.
Give Greg Land Transformers. That's all you have to do. He'd be amazing. Greg Land loves drawing cars, and he's good at drawing robots. I don't know what else you need.
So yeah, Cypher is strangely central to this story, a lot of it, because he figures out how they are tracking Cable, which is basically through Cable's arm.
Yeah. He's got an arm problem there.
He's got an arm. He's got that GPS unit lodged in his arm. And we get the climax of the story involves Bastion creating a giant red sphere around San Francisco and a climactic battle on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Recreating X-Men The Last Stand.
Okay. Sure.
Am I wrong? Because that's what it is.
No, but Bastion basically starts sending Nimrods back from the future, and Cable has to use his final available time jump to get everybody, get this like team of, who is it? It's like Wolverine, Psylocke, a couple of them.
Cypher. It's Wolverine, Cypher, Cable, Archangel, and Domino.
Right. And they're going to go sort of X-Force the future. And we get some casualties along the way. Poor Ariel gets blown up. I felt bad for Ariel. I loved seeing her, and then she was gone.
She gets better.
God, that's great. I hope there's a nice doorway for her to get some medical attention.
It's the car door. She jumps through the car door, but the
car door is that really shuts. What happens?
The car door explodes. She gets stuck in between space and time, and then they grab her through a different door later.
Oh, I like that. That's very smart.
Mike Carey's a very good writer, Adam. I don't know why you were concerned.
And poor Nightcrawler deserves better than this. You know, he saves Hope by, basically getting a Bastion arm through his chest, and I just feel bad for him.
I feel bad for Nightcrawler. I will say that essentially, being generous, since Chuck Austin wrote him, no one knew what to do with Nightcrawler.
It's a good point.
So, he's a acceptable casualty from a structure of the line standpoint, but I love him and I don't want him to die. Yeah. So that's sad. Vanisher gets killed. Oh yeah, they're attacking all of the teleporters.
That is a clever idea. I like that.
Super good.
Yeah. Well, Bastion's plan is to isolate them and then basically put them inside this red ball and kill them all. It's a pretty good plan.
Yeah, it's a plan, all right. And it works pretty well. My biggest issues with this event is structurally. Structurally, it's weird. Because it takes a while for the event to actually get going. Because it really doesn't kick off until Nightcrawler's funeral. It doesn't feel that way. The New Mutants are in the book for a while, and then they're just not anymore.
Right.
They go off to hell in a split-off series where Gambit becomes Death again. It's not great.
Yeah, they're trying to save magic because they use... the Purifiers use what, like a magic cannon on her or something? And
they use a spell kit, they use a send someone to hell gun.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
They use a magic's going to hell gun, and it's very funny.
But there's a spin-off if you want to read about that, right?
There is.
Hellbound.
Rogue is not important enough to this book for the weird amount of screen time she gets. And I understand that's because Mike Carey was writing Rogue as his primary character in X-Men Legacy, but she doesn't really fit into this event all that well.
Yeah, she's supposed to be like strangely linked to Hope. But that never really like makes a link. Like we never really understand why.
Yeah. And then also Cyclops, for this being his crowning achievement as a commander, Cyclops mostly stares at computer screens and points for this
Yeah.
entire book.
Yep. That's fair.
And that's not the most exciting thing. Hope is great in this, and Cable is great in this, and I love both of them dearly.
I think that's interesting though, because I don't know that everybody loves Hope. I think that the end of this arc really does make a very good question as to where the writers thought Hope was going to go, because my assumption at the end of this is not just that Hope is going to, be the catalyst. I mean, not only does it bring up some very interesting questions about like how the Phoenix Force works in the last issue, but she's the catalyst for New Mutants coming back. Like the 198,
Yes.
which has been slowly dwindling, is now, we're going to have mutants again. The X gene is coming back. Scott's getting the pings. But
The 5 flights, yep.
yeah, but it sort of suggests that Hope's role is much larger. And it's so sad to me that it just came down to AVX. And that really wasn't that interesting,
Fan theories at the time thought Hope was a reincarnated Jean Grey, which, look, I get it.
Sure. Why
this
not?
is called Second Coming.
Yeah.
She's a redhead. She just did a Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. Despite the fact that AVX centers around her getting the Phoenix, I never understood how the Phoenix works with that stuff.
Adam, it doesn't make sense. Just wait. Just keep on keeping on, man.
Keep on not making sense. So you said that you didn't necessarily have the same reaction reading this again.
I've read it several times and I've really enjoyed it every other time. But as I'm reading it this time, I'm like, there's some really good moments in here.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot structurally that doesn't work as well for me. I think it doesn't juggle its very large cast incredibly well. I think from an art standpoint, it's really jarring. It doesn't fit. Like, you take something like the X-Men Disassembled 10-issue series that ran a little bit ago in Uncanny. Say what you will about that. The artists on that book were tonally in step with each other.
Agreed.
They knew that R.B. Silva and Mahamad Asra and like Pepe Perez all fit a similar aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, I'm not getting that from this book.
Well, and we're getting shifts in colorists, inkers, it's kind of all over the map. So I think that that's definitely to its detriment. I also just think in general, the story's too long.
14 issues is a bit.
Yeah, it's too much. And it's trying to do too little over too many issues. So, threads get spun out into little side things. Like there's a side thing like Revelations, Hellbound, Blind Science. Like
Blind Science is super good.
Is that
by the way
the X Club spinoff, right?
Yeah, Blind Science is the prequel to X Club. It rules.
Cy
Spurrier also writes it.
Hey, and that's why some of these events can be fun. We see new ways to explore the universe, but this just seems like too much for not a lot of reward. So where's this going?
I, myself, think Messiah Complex, which is currently at number 8, is better.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Messiah Complex is way better than this.
Yeah, guys, Messiah Complex low-key rules. Actually, high-key rules.
I think Messiah War is better than this at 60.
See? I like Messiah War better.
That's what I'm saying. It's better.
Which is where... No, I like this better than Messiah War. I'm sorry, I did speak badly. Which is where I think the problem's going to be. I thought at one point this would be a top 10 shooter.
No.
But it's not. There's a lot of good X-Men stories. This is not the best. Like, I still liked this better than the new X-Men story.
Okay. Which is at what? Which one are you talking
65.
about?
65. The new X-Men story we just talked about, the Nimrod one.
Oh, yeah. give you that, but I'm looking down at 68 and I'm looking at Inferno and I'm having a hard time just like wrapping my head around putting this ahead of Inferno. Like,
Well,
even though Inferno is not that great.
See, I still like this better than Inferno. This is the toughie for us.
I mean, we're both admitting that this thing is like flawed big time.
I think
it
it's
has
flawed.
Great Cable and Hope moments. It has some fun individual moments. As an all-encompassing crossover, I would go so far as to say it kind of fails. You know, it has like the beginning and the end that you want it to have, but it's got too much filler.
This is Adam's hot take corner, and I am here for it.
Oh, this is Adam's hot take Airbnb, folks. Sign in at the check-in desk.
How do you think Airbnbs work? Do you think there's a check-in desk?
If it's in an apartment complex, in a high rise.
Okay, maybe that's fair. That's fair. Okay, I'm gonna say my thing, and then I want you to give me your range.
All right, here we go.
I don't think it's as good as 57 Executioner Song. I think it's better than Messiah War at 60.
Okay.
You don't think it's better than Inferno. What do you think it's better than that's below it?
I think it could go right below Inferno. I think it's a little bit more universe spanning than, let's say, that X Factor standalone issue of Christmas. But I would be willing to go above Inferno because now that I'm thinking about it, we've got that Howard the Duck story right above that. And I don't know.
I'm going to propose a diplomatic solution.
All right, go for it.
We have a gulf between us, and I don't think we're going to be able to convince each other one way or another that each one of us is right or wrong.
Okay.
How about above Ultimate X-Men 1 through 6, the Tomorrow People?
I'm so glad you said that. I was just thinking the same thing. That's a perfect solution, Zach.
Like, it's shocking to me that this is going below Messiah War. Like, I still don't believe that this is happening, but also, I wouldn't have believed this when we started. But that's where we're at. Guys, if you like Second Coming, I get it. I liked Second Coming.
Yeah, in
the past, I really did. I'm not sure why I don't now, but
I just think it's as messy as Messiah War is. You know what I mean? And Messiah War might be just a little bit more consistent than this. So I think putting it a notch below some really classic Art Adams is probably a good place for it to go.
Well, there it is. It's our new number 63. And Adam, what an episode. I feel like Nimrod would be proud.
Yeah. All right. We've created our own time paradoxes. So we got to thank Rob again.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. This was a really fun episode. We talked about a lot of fun things, and I had a lot of fun times. If you want to be like Rob and bring a lot of fun to my life, you can go on over to patreon.com/XavierFiles. That's where you can support the show just like Rob or Patton Oswald's best friend or whoever else is supporting our show at this moment. It's really cool. We'll do an entire episode based around one of your suggestions. We have some really, really fun suggestions coming up. So
we sure do.
Get prepared for that one. Also, if you tell your friends about us, tell your comic book shop owner, graffiti our logo into every train that you see. Just get the name out there. Be our Battle of the Atom street team. And we'll know that you did a good job if one of two things happened. A, we get more listens on the podcast. B, the Battle of the Atom trade paperback does shoot back up onto the bestsellers list on Amazon.
Because people are confused.
Man, I was thinking today, from an SEO standpoint, I'm very glad that it only took me 80 episodes to say I should put an X-Men podcast in our actual title.
It's a fantastic plan, my friend.
Man, we're manipulating the system. You can go to XavierFiles.com if you want to see how I'm manipulating the system. We have some very, very good words and thoughts about very different things. and Xavier Files on Twitter. That's where I'm reading Hickman's Avengers because it rules. Adam, where can people find you?
Guys, you can always follow me on Twitter at Arthur Stacy. Got new pages of Bish and Jubes, The Cross Time Conundrum, coming out every X-Men Monday at adamrec.tumblr.com. And if you'd like some Adam Rec artwork in your inbox every single day, you can head to patreon.com/AdamRec for just $1 a month. I'm giving you some art. Lately, I've been doing some Avengers Endgame pieces, and it's been really fun.
Yeah, and they're actually, like, I was about to say actually, and that's rude and not the tone I wanted to strike here. Those Avengers Endgame pieces have been a stylistic shift away from what I normally see you doing when I open up my little Patreon notification every month, and in a pleasant way. They've been very different and very good.
Well, thank you. So if anybody wants to take advantage of that, they can. What are we talking about next week, Zach?
Next week, we're talking about Bishop. You like him.
My boy.
Your boy. And some other people's boy, which is buck wild. We'll get into it. But until then, guys, this has been Battle of the Atom, and we hope you survived the experience.
Get it!